on the morning of the first resurrection, does the coffin open and somebody jumps out and says, I'm here, Lord, give me a universe? Well, I don't think so.
Travis Wayne Goodsall. Let's get to some comment replies. Got some from my website even. Paul, a couple years ago, set up a website for me under my name, and he has it linked to my YouTube channel so that latest videos get shown on it. And so once in a couple blue moons, somebody comments on it. And most of the time it seems like people are not very friendly and nice. So, despite the website making this answer very blatantly obvious, Jonathan does not seem to think so. And so he first says, I think he said it once, and then almost over two and a half hours later, he then repeats the question and adds some more information. So we'll read the second one. He says, "Hello, Travis. Do you believe in God?" His first one worded it, "So you don't believe in God." Yep, it's a false dichotomy. That's it. That's all there is. The extremes. It's either one way or the other, black or white. Both of which are wrong. There are no third options. There's no other opportunities or options. Yep. It's like everybody's forgotten about Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Because I see too many times, even in government or in movies and television, I hear them talking about a win-win or a lose-lose, which comes from that book. But I also hear You know, both sides have to compromise in order for a win-win. What are you talking about? Did you not even read it? He makes it very clear. Neither side should compromise. If there's a compromising side, they're the loser. Compromising is lose-lose. It does not benefit both parties equally. And so he recommends other options. Even if you can't agree on one particular issue, you can still make deals or agreements that don't include that. And so you can do other agreements that are a win-win until you can figure out another option for the one you disagree on. And it's like nobody even bothered to read or care. You know, they all want Trump's art of the deal instead. And botched that one too. And so there's more religions than Christian. Islam believes in God. They call him Allah. So the Jews believe in God. And unfortunately, they don't call him the right name because they screwed it up because of Constantine. It's very simple. Book of Mormon, blatantly obvious. Pre-Babylonian captivity, Jewish Egyptians. It's a completely different religion because it's extinct, especially after Joseph Smith was murdered, having restored it. The doctrine still remains, so there's no need to restore the doctrine. Like the church claims that they've restored the doctrine of Jesus. The gospel's been restored. It was there in the Bible, and we restored it. Dumbasses. So, yeah, that's just a stupid thing to say. That's a racially bigoted, hateful comment. Question. But then he follows it up with, who is the Jewish Christ? God is Christ. Christ is king. King is man. Real simple. Constantine screwed it all up. And so, yeah, nobody understands Kim Jong-un, why his people believe that he is God. We all laugh at him and mock him because his people think he's God. Because you're using Christian interpretation on North Korean ancient tradition. Dumbass haters. You're never going to understand him and what he's doing, and then how you can then mock him. Or as Stephen Covey says, seek first to understand before being understood. I mean, seriously? Nobody's read the book, huh? Dear God. So, yeah, I guess we gotta put 7 Habits of Highly Effective People on the cover. If I'm gonna keep referring to it. And you do know he's Mormon. You know, the Benjamin Franklin Covey company that did the books, calendar book, notebooks, whatever they're called. I had tried it. On my mission, I had the one set, and then I had purchased the replacement set, the planners, and then came to realize that it just wasn't working right for me. And so while on my mission, while designing membership investigator records, And I also designed my own planner, which was perfect. But with the massive load of projects that I have, it doesn't work. It only works if I have like a few projects that I need to keep organized. We're not talking boxes of projects. It just doesn't work for boxes of projects, because to do the planning takes the rest of my life. It is a project in and of itself. As I published project books way back in 2015-16. It literally is a project in and of itself with all that I have going on in my head. So anyway, but that's the whole point. You're supposed to use the Jewish interpretation on all Scripture, so that you will understand through the learning of the Jews, pre-Babylonian captivity, Jewish Egyptian, remember, and thus know the identity when he comes, because all of it is future prophecy. He doesn't exist yet. He's not born. They're telling you who he is and how you will know him. They are giving you the dates of his actual birth and the start of his ministry to Mormons in the latter days. And so it's real simple, as Mormons have the inside track, because Joseph Smith is the one who said, hey, he's going to be a Mormon. And so it is just sad, just pathetic, that Mormons have additional scripture about the Mormon who is going to come as a Mormon to Mormons as their Christ, and they're waiting for Jesus instead. It is just so sad that Jonathan, he just refuses to understand and learn. He's not asking a serious question. You know, I saw your first question. Don't think you're trying to fool me by saying, hello, Travis. I saw, so you don't believe in God. I saw what you did. Dear God. And I just did the video yesterday while he was making his dumbass comment. Did a whole video that's on my prerequisite playlist. Mormons are supposed to refer to that. Anybody who's new, you know how YouTube works. Don't give me this excuse that you think that this was my only video. So anyway, and so whatever video he went to, he's not clear. These things are not clear from your video. And the other one was, it's not clear from your videos. I've watched a number of them. Didn't Joseph Smith say that he saw Jesus in the only account of the first vision that was written by him in his own handwriting? Which version are you talking about? Because I'm guessing it's the 1838. Did you ever even read it? I mean, dear God, you have to... I mean, seriously, how long have you been a Mormon? I mean, clearly you're over 18, right? So you've gone to church your whole life, or were you just a brand new convert? That the missionaries told you, and you're just going off of what the missionaries told you, and you never bothered to read it for yourself. I mean, seriously, Mormons are born and raised in the covenant with parents who were born and raised in the covenant. Sometimes even the mom has gone on missions. Like my mom went on a mission. And so you get this full immersion into this Christian Mormon non-Trinitarian religion. And you go to church, and you go to seminary, and you go to, especially for youth, and you go on your missions, and you go to BYUs, and you go to Institute, and then you have callings where you're teaching and you're leading, and you're trying to tell me that you believe Joseph Smith calls out the personage as Jesus Christ. You're really going to push that on me, huh? You think that I haven't done my research, that I have no clue what I'm talking about? I'm just a hater, kicking the pricks of Mormonism. Seriously? Seriously? What the blatant hell? So he's talking about 3 Christian groups. Christian. And he says they can't agree on the interpretation of the Bible because the gospel needs to be restored. And you read him talk about this darkness and confusion of Christians. And so here it is. All missionaries are forced to memorize it, or at least read from it. When doing this lesson, I saw a pillar of light exactly over my head, above the brightness of the sun. Pre-Babylonian captivity Jewish Egyptians, huh? Which descended gradually until it fell upon me. It no sooner appeared than I found myself delivered from the enemy, which held me bound. When the light rested upon me, I saw 2 personages. Pay attention for what's missing. Whose brightness and glory defy all description. Standing above me in the air, one of them spake unto me, calling me by name, and said, pointing to the other, This is my beloved Son, hear him. I asked the personages who stood above me in the light, which of all the sects was right. I was answered that I must join none of them, for they were all wrong. And the personage who addressed me said that all their creeds were an abomination in his sight, that those professors, and you need to understand, you profess what you believe. It's not a professor of a university. It's different word, meaning. All those who profess Christianity were all corrupt. that they draw near to me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. They teach for doctrines the commandments of men, having a form of godliness, but deny the power thereof. He again forbade me to join with any of them, and many other things did he say unto me, which I cannot write at this time, which, it's in other scriptures, you're just plagiarizing, Joseph. When the light had departed, I had no strength, but soon recovering in some degree, I went home. And as I leaned upon the fireplace, Mother inquired what was the matter. You've missed that video, haven't you? You did, didn't you? I exposed this. Of Lucy Mack? Yeah, it's not Lucy Mack. It's a forged document by Howard Garay. The 1841 forged edition. And so he tells his mother, I have learned for myself that Presbyterianism is not true. He never calls out the name, but he describes them, which is the translation of the name. Seriously, guys, come on. What is the Isaiah? Hello? Emmanuel? God, Amen? The Egyptian sun god at noonday? Real simple stuff, guys. Real simple stuff. But the indoctrination of this church, darkness and corruption, confusion. These are not clear in my videos. Dear God. Let's see. Yeah, that's it. Dear God. Do we have the theme song, or is it just the picture? Yeah, it's just the picture. 7 Habits of Highly Ineffective Mormons. There's the title of the video. Highly Ignorant Mormons. Dear God. Okay. So, calls for national divorce. Child faith was first. 55:23, he says, what's the parable of the talents talking about? Seriously? What the bleep? Do you not know where to find it? I've been gaslit about that my whole life. It's about money. No! It's not about money. Let's see if I can find it. Teach in parables. Just one. Mark. That's not what I was looking for. And he taught them many things by parables, and said unto them in his doctrine. Oh, it is in. I just got to read further down. It just doesn't have taught. Okay. Let's see. So, 10 parables. When he was alone, 12 asked of him the parable. He said unto them, unto you it is given to know the mystery of the kingdom of God, but unto them that are without, all these things are done in parables, that seeing they may see, and not perceive, and hearing they may hear, and not understand, lest at any time they should be converted, and their sins should be forgiven them. Jesus denying salvation. Let people sin. Nelson made that translation of Jesus after doing Israel's botched job. And he said unto them, Know ye not this parable? And how then will ye know all parables? This is not quite the one I was thinking of, but it helps you to understand that those who believe, he can come right out and talk about the initiatories in the temple. Mysteries, from the Greek mysterion, which means initiatory, washing and anointing, to become Christ, God, perfect, king, queen, high priest, high priestess. You have the inside information, Mormons, and yet and so for people who mock religion, who don't believe, you can shut them up real quick by talking about their career field. So farming, as the parable of the sower is talking about here before this. There went out a sower to sow. And so everybody can understand what he's saying in the story. But that's as far as they can go. They are unable, or as he says, they see what he's talking about, because it's a story of what they do for a living. You know, you can see somebody sowing seed if he were to do an object lesson. You know, we have those that we used to do. I don't know if they're still doing them in Sunday school now, where you do a visual demonstration of the doctrinal precept. That's like a parable. People see it, but they don't understand. They don't perceive the religious implications of it. They hear when he speaks, but they don't understand what he's saying. Just like Jonathan. And so he speaks in parables for that purpose. And so when you're talking about the kingdom of God, they're talking about their Jewish kingdom getting restored in the latter days by the Jewish Christ, who's represented as Jesus for Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John. What you incorrectly believe is a gospel. It's a tale of a God. So the Old Testament are gospels, because every one of them has a different God tale. And you can also tell by their Jewish name with an L. God. Okay? Parables. So you wanted what parable? Where is it? Nope, that's not it. Talents. Right, of course. Duh, Travis. Matthew 25. Why did I go to 24? What are you doing? You knew better. All right. So we have the 10 foolish virgins, and then we have the talents in 14. For the kingdom of heaven, Zion, Latter-day Zion, with Emmanuel as the Christ for Latter-day Zion, is as a man traveling into a far country, who called his own servants, that's you, child faith, and delivered unto them his goods, the mysteries of the kingdom. I shouldn't have to do parables for you. You're smarter than that, aren't you? Are you deceiving me? And unto one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another 1, to every man according to his several ability, and straightway took his journey. This is like Jesus calling 12 apostles. Were they given money by Jesus to go to the city and invest the money and then give it to Jesus at his second coming? Obviously not. This is a parable because everybody, even Nelson, understands the money concept of it. Wow, that's just like 119. Church is true. See how easy it is to mock Nelson? Nelson is pretending to be the leader of the church with a false idol god of darkness and confusion, telling you about scriptures as parable true because he's a dumbass. It's souls to be brought to Zion. That's what it's about. So don't get hung up on, well, you know, the one guy buried the person in the ground. He's the one. And he refused to go out and convert, to teach the mysteries to those who would believe. And as such, they are pearls of great price that they're supposed to be teaching, and thus they use talents for those who believe and convert. This is a very simple parable. And so, yeah, it's all about the latter days and Zion, getting to Zion. Not complicated. Do not look beyond the mark. Do not use Christian Jesus interpretation. It will screw you up every time. I'm not dead yet. Yes, you are. It all has to do with the gathering. Calls for national divorce still. Stanford. Hey, Travis. So who is God? Don't you believe in God? Stanford knows. I don't need to speak in parables to Stanford. Just priceless. I should do a whole book about revised parables. A certain Mormon that would be a classic. Your emphasis about higher law, non-Trinitarian Jesus Church, Capos, alla Mafia, and Cosa Nostra, habitual desperado decisions and actions is precisely on point. Thanks for the summation. The Jesus Christ Church Capos have, through the miracle revelation per Russell M. Nelson, created a perfect record of 100% federally forced corporate disillusion. Their lies, perjuries, and crimes have perjury. That's right. Because the council, God, perjuries. Counsel for the church in the Shelby lawsuit and other lawsuits about tithing are perjuring themselves as lawyers, passing the bar, educated, degreed, licensed, employed, and they're still perjuring themselves for their client. Thank you. Have been constantly discovered, exposed, published, and punished by the federal government at every turn since the first insurrection. How this will be finally brought out to its proverbial knees and finally decapitated will be quite a scene to watch from afar. O ye fair ones, how could ye have departed from the ways of the Lord? Mormons' lament is prophetic. Question mark? Yes, it is. No question mark needed. O ye fair sons and daughters, ye fathers and mothers, ye husbands and wives, ye fair ones, how is it that ye could have fallen? But behold, ye are gone, and my sorrows cannot bring your return. Mormon chapter 6, verses 19 to 20. The revelation, no return, no resurrection. Resurrection. Meaning of verses 21 and 22? Question mark. You're asking questions, aren't you? Yes, not just because fair was Brother Peterson's renamed farms. Which had fallen. But yes, to Mormons generally. Dear God. Okay, 20 and 21 or 21 and 22? 21 and 22. And the day soon cometh. Yeah, that's your big clue. It's a resurrection. Or a resurrection. A prophecy. That your mortal must put on immortality. That these bodies which are now moldering in corruption must soon become incorruptible bodies. And then ye must stand before the judgment seat of Christ to be judged according to your works. And if it so be that ye are righteous, then ye are blessed with your fathers who have gone before you. Oh, that ye would or ye had repented before this great destruction had come upon you. But behold, you are gone, and the Father, yea, the eternal Father of heaven, knoweth your state, and he doeth with you according to his justice and mercy. So you see the judgment seat? Zion. Those who go to Zion are judged. And like I said with the rituals for becoming perfect, God, Christ, yeah, the mysteries are unfolded to Stanford. And so yes, only the pure go to Zion. Only the pure will get an inheritance in Zion. They must appear before me. If it's not clear that it's me, because you never bothered to run the test, and being approved, you are now perfect. You are now joint heirs with me in Zion. You are now taking upon yourself the name of Christ. You are a king and a queen, a high priest and high priestess, to rule and reign in the house of Israel forever. Your families. You're in charge of your families. I am not in charge of you. I do not order you to do things. Farm boy, fetch me that pitcher. As you wish. Nope. Both husband and wife raised their family. And all you got to do is love. Don't try to take away agency of life, liberty, and property. That's it. That's all. That's the only requirement for Zion. Monetary system of economy is corruption. The corruption that you are forced to be in this world is gone in Zion. And you now are incorruptible. And so yes, Christianity wants you to believe that this is the resurrection of the physical body after you die. And so they say that when Jesus comes, he's going to burn you. But if you're righteous, you'll be resurrected. Not quite. There's a difference with the Jews. And I'm still holding off on going to that level of knowledge for you after we die. There's no reason to expand on what happens when we die or after we die, because the majority are incapable of going beyond the parable for this life. So if I have one human and I bury them in the ground, just cracks me up. Trial faith. So yes, it is a prophecy of Zion. If we can get the church to fall, if we can get the transfer to me so that all Mormons will know who I am, since it's too complicated for them to do the work themselves and figure it out, that they would be compelled to believe, I would then put out the section 133 call out through the bishops that were established by this corporation, criminal organization, so that it would be the easiest, quickest way to do it. And those who left the church, likewise. Church is fallen, guys. You're free. And so you guys can come to Zion if you want to. But too many of them who leave the church don't bother to know what the truth is. They just know that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints isn't true, and they go and live their own lives of heathen debauchery, godlessness. But yeah, you guys can come. You still have your membership records with the church. They never got rid of them. They say they do. They didn't. It's there. I'll know of you. So yeah, you guys can come too. And then, yeah, it's all set up that the caravans that will freak out Fox News coming to Zion, the sanctuary city, which I have no idea. Trump has now made it impossible. Pam Bondi is suing Illinois, of all states, first. What are you doing? That's where Zion is to be. Oh my hell. Pam, I gave you the tip on Utah, and you go after Illinois? Oh my hell. You're making my life harder. Harder. Anyway. Yeah. And so when you get there, you go to the command center, we'll call it. And so there the bishop takes the book of the law, presents it to me. I compare it with the book of the law that I was given by the bishop before he left to make sure everybody's accounted for. Excuse me. And then they go into the other stages, the medical, kitchen, their temporary inheritance, the tent location where they're going to stay, because we still have to build Zion. I can't give you your inheritance until after we build it. And then, after you get settled temporarily, then we have a one-on-one where we go over your list of needs and wants and the design of your inheritance. You get to design it. And so all of that would be taken care of, as we'll also need bishop storehouses built for the economy, not economy. Alrighty, so that's the intention for that, with the parable and with this right here about the judgment seat and coming to Zion being approved. See how much better that was, Child Faith? I'm going to pick on you because I saw your email. We're bringing that up. All right, what else do we have here? Another one on the same video from Stanford. Oh, right, you were sending me to another video, and that was, yeah. So we don't need to bring that one up. All right, and then here's a bunch of Child Faiths, which I did notice. The last video I did, Will a Mormon Rob God? I noticed that the regular thumbs downer was in a meeting until noon today. And then boom, after noon, going on his lunch break, he did his thing to put the thumbs down on the video. I know his work schedule. What meeting were you in? Was it for the church? 2019 Articles of Incorporation are first, and then a Dallin H. Oaks, and then a Jewish Christ of Mormonism. Which, I mean, seriously? Jonathan, what the hell? So, the first two at 2 hours, 21 minutes, 19 seconds. Oh, dear God, that was long. Wait, so they are, or they are not a corporation. They're not. They claim they are. They claim they're a religion too. They're not. They're a criminal organization, which is why they're making it so confusing on purpose, so that we legitimize them. They're a criminal operation. And so the articles of incorporation were done illegally by Heber J. Grant, because it claims that they are a corporation for the religion. The religion doesn't exist. It was dissolved by the United States of America. And so what he needed to do was file articles of incorporation for a religion. He didn't. Because he had deceived Mormons that the church was still true and existed. Maybe he didn't even know. Because this is how they got Joseph Fielding Smith Sr. to be the president. He's not a Danite. He was the son of Hiram Smith. They don't want him to know stuff, and it was clear that they didn't let him in on the super sacred secrets of the plot, because it was him that first turned it all into a Jesus to blame. Jesus is going to do the coup. Jesus is going to do the murders. Whereas the Danites were being blatantly outright and open. Yeah, we're doing it. We've got it planned in the future to overthrow the government. We're going to murder people. Thomas B. Marsh's affidavit. They openly confessed. And so Brigham Young and Heber C. Kimball in the Valley began teaching the Mormons that they needed to come in to build up an army against the United States, who took their kingdom, cannot be told directly other than through the temple. Because through the temple covenant paths of Brigham Young, we are told we need to sacrifice even our own lives, if necessary, in sustaining and defending the kingdom of God. Kingdom? And the law of consecration. Everything you do is for the kingdom. You own nothing. It's all the church's kingdoms. Kingdom. Brigham Young never wanted to be a part of the United States. He never wanted to be we believe in being subject to kings, presidents, rulers, and magistrates, and obeying, honoring, and sustaining the law. He didn't want to do it. It still remains. That's why they tell you, don't leak the secrets in the covenant path. Brigham Young used to murder people. It's a coup. And yet, the teachings that they spoke of in their meetings, and conferences and such, blamed Jesus now. That Jesus is the one in charge. Not understanding that the president of the church is Jesus. And so when Joseph Fielding Smith Sr., in The Way to Perfection, talks about Adam-on-Diamond, that Lucifer is going to hand over the government to Jesus, it's obviously not what it means. The president of the church, or leaders of a nation, are Lucifer. And they're going to hand it over to the president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That's what it means. And yet, if you didn't watch the previous video I posted about Trump Ice 2025, Nelson talks about the coming of Jesus to Jerusalem. And so Trump announces, I'm going to Gaza. I'm gonna build some homes. A Riviera. You're not catching on yet? The coup of the government. Biden of the deep state Dems hands over, transfers authority to Trump. You're not catching on yet? Got some dark hairs. Weird. I thought I'd be all white. I mean, seriously. Why is this so hard for Mormons? Oh, right, you're waiting for literal Jesus to show. Oh my God. And so, yeah, this is what they're covering up and hiding from you. And they're hoping that Trump will destroy the federal government. That Trump will make it so that every single state becomes their own kingdom. To run it how they want it to be run. And that's when the church gets their kingdom back. That's why they're buying up land. That's why they're hoarding money. For their kingdom come, their will be done. So, yeah, they are a criminal operation. They are the enemy. Okay, then you say corporation has no members. Yeah, from the documents themselves. 5-page documents, but it's there. All right, so the one from Dallin H. Oaks, he just put a laughing tears emoji. And then Jesus Christ of Mormonism. 2 minutes, 25 seconds. What sacrifices will be offered? You missed that one with Child Faith. He had talked about that and asked some questions about the sons of Levi offering up an offering in righteousness. And so I did a comment reply for that one, and I think some other follow-ups after that as they became to my attention from certain scriptures that I was going over. But yeah, you need to understand Zion is the temple. The city is now the temple. You are now living in the temple. It's not separate. Your home is not separate from the temple. They are one and the same. It is my house. So yes, I will have my own house in Zion. And that'll be the capstone. So I get mine last, after all of yours are built. And so we need to hurry. I want my home. The Egyptian prophecies are kind of concerning because some of the pyramids don't have a capstone. And so there isn't any temple rituals anymore. This is going to be kind of awkward for Mormons. You know, when the missionary comes home from his mission, he thinks he's lost the spirit now and he doesn't know what to do, and so he goes out and does a drunken orgy, sex of debauchery, hedonism. They never learned how to feel and recognize the true spirit. They were addicted to their spiritual witness feelings. That's what they are telling you by not understanding, not perceiving the parable of their mission. They'd wasted their whole mission. They did not learn from it. Because when you understand the true source of knowledge is inspiration and producing the results of it. Not letting it all boxed up in projects that get overwhelming that not even a Stephen R. Covey, Franklin Covey planner will fix for you. And so, no, there is no need for baptism, no need for the initiatories, no need for the covenant paths of bondage. You're needing something else other than the underwear. I'm trying to get you to do it now because with Trump, he is purposely revving things up, and when the church falls, everybody's going to hate Mormons because the church got caught and busted and they're now destroyed. And so everybody will all know about it around the whole world. And so when they see the underwear on you, they're going to go, "You're a Mormon. You're of that evil criminal church." You don't want to be wearing the underwear during that time. And so that's why I'm trying to protect you now in advance. Church sets you up. But the sons of Levi sacrifices, that's all part of the whole city, getting what you need and what you want. And so the tithes and offerings are to the bishop's storehouse. And so, yeah, we'll still have barbecues. Whatever animals are available. We did the video of what the ranch has for the church. You know, you got cows, we got elk, deer, and etc. But again, that has to be transferred. We still want to preserve every single species of animal that we can, or at least family group, because species would get overwhelming for the size of the ark of the city of Zion. Do I need to speak in parable? And every plant, thus the seeds, except for squash. We're not doing squash. And peppers. No peppers, no squash. It's dead. The seed dies with me. But yeah, people need to eat. And so the original ancient sacrifices was the people bring the offerings to the temple to be presented before the God in the Holy of Holies and sacrificed on the altar. And then a portion would be given back to the people who offered them, as that represents them, the husband and wife, having a baby that would one day be the Christ to restore the religion. As the broken body and the spilt blood represents Joseph Smith, the Messiah ben Joseph, who was shed for them, Mormons. And so a future Mormon would be the one to restore Joseph Smith's religion. That's why Mormons, as couples, partake of the sacrament in remembrance of the body and blood of Joseph Smith that was shed for them, that in the future there would be me, a baby, as a Mormon, as the Mormon couple are Christ and Krista, king and queen, high priest and high priestess of the temple initiatories, taking upon yourselves the name of Christ, being joint heirs with Christ, to go to Zion in the book of the law. And so now you are the ones offering it, and you are the ones partaking of the offering from the storehouse. Everybody equally. We all contribute with our offerings, and we all get as the priests making the offerings, being blessed of me who's among you. You are in my presence. We are all there together. And so that's the sacrifices. But yeah, we'll need cooks and barbecuers and all that stuff too. Whoso denieth meat. I mean, seriously, Alexa, what are you doing? Hi? Seriously? She runs off to Colombia, picks up a guy whose name is Hi, who's a fruitarian. He is what he eats. Dear God, what is she doing? I mean, she's not rebelling against her dad. She was rebelling against her dad by being a good girl. What are you doing? Stop it! And then, the other comment on this one video, how is this not replacement religion? I mean, Orthodox Jews must be losing it with your claims. Yeah, well, Orthodox Jews are Christianized by Roman Emperor Constantine. Elohim. They think it's a plural majesty as a singular. And that was because of Trinity. 3 individuals are all one, but not one because they're not real. And so Elohim is that. It is plural, but it's one, God, for the Jews. And Allah is the same situation, just in reverse. Allah is singular from El of the Canaanites, God, but it is translated into English as we. And so it's a multiple deity as one, just like Trinity. See where Constantine's been screwing everybody up? This is not the original. And so how is this not replacement religion? I'm not sure what you mean by that. We're restoring the ancient religions that all came from the Egyptians. Talking about what I talked about. Because the sacrament, the Last Supper, that's from the Egyptians. They had Horus, Osiris died for them, and then Horus was the child who came in the latter days, 21st of August 2017, with the wounded eye of the solar eclipse, to start his ministry among Mormons. That's where it all comes from. Okay, so we're done with these. Now, what the hell are you talking about here? His email. I don't think I know your name. I think I only know you by Child Faith. And that was the one you changed it to, wasn't it? Wasn't it something other previous to that? It's been a while. You've been around for a couple of years now, haven't you? But, yeah, you claimed you were first in Brazil, and then all of a sudden you say, I'm no longer in Brazil, I'm now in India or someplace, and you were heading to Hong Kong or China and Japan or something like that, and then you disappeared, and then all of a sudden you came back, and I think you said you were back in Brazil. And so what's going on here? You decided to come to Utah last week. Last week? Seriously? So you suddenly appear, and you're not in Brazil, you're in Utah. Even with Trump saying, you're not allowed in Utah. You're not allowed in the United States. How did you get in? Trump closed everything. How did you sneak in? What's going on? Are you real? Are you a troll? And so you're saying you're just going to stay for a few days, maybe weeks? Seriously? We're on the verge of a potential fall transfer and exodus to Zion. You're in the United States now, and you're saying, no, maybe I'll leave the United States. And you think you're going to come back in to go to Zion, do you? What are you thinking? And don't you have a family? Don't you have kids and a wife? What's going on? And so you then say you'd love to help in any way possible, in person or online. The last videos you've uploaded in the past weeks have really proven to be logical enough for me to fully invest in this cause. Good. Although I'm concerned about parables for you. And so you're staying by Redwood Road. It's kind of a long road. I also have a place you can stay in Springville. Interesting. So you're that filthy rich, are you? That you have homes all over the world, huh? And you've got a car. Lots of time available. Obviously. Dear God, you are living the high life. Touring the world. Not a care in the world. Living in retirement. And the will to be a part of the prophecies to build Zion, even though you're going to leave before we get to go. And avoid the destruction of our people. Yeah. How can I be of help? And so, yeah, wow. I remember Stanford, he wanted to go out and have hot chocolate with me once, or was it dinner? And, because we don't do coffee. Yeah. And that never happened, did it? But obviously I have a whole bunch of projects and need help a lot. But the thing, talking about Zion and the sacrifices part, is that every single human, especially in these latter days, have different interests, different abilities, different talents, different people they've buried in the ground. And so there's lots of diversity to help make Zion prosper. The more we get, the more diversity in our food, in our clothing, and etc., and in other things, even art, that we'll be able to have in Zion. Any of the aesthetics, the humanities. And so with your claim to know several different languages, for example, we do need to make sure that all the knowledge, not just every family of animal, every seed, be gathered to Zion, also be done. And so we're going to need grammars of every single language on earth to preserve it, but also for Mormons who were converted in that language. If they come to Zion, we need to be able to communicate with them, like the day of Pentecost. It's not the Babel language. It's knowing the various languages around the world and being able to communicate. Just like the church does with the temple, they do it in a different language, and then they have it available if there's English speaking also for Spanish speaking sessions, to have headphones so that the English can understand at the same time as the Spanish go through. Or the Jordan River Temple also has Polynesian languages, Korean times, specifically set up on Saturday mornings throughout the month for those special sessions. But otherwise, and so, yeah, if you want, if that's what you do, I could use every single language grammar and dictionary in a PDF form. So you can just start linking them to me and I can download them, or you can download them and link the thing to me, and then I can add it to the collection. That's one thing you can do. And so anybody else who's listening, whatever you guys are good at doing to contribute to Zion, do a whole mock-up of it. If you make clothes, we need pattern designs, because we don't want it to stay with you and then die with you. We would like to be able to have others take those patterns and continue to make clothes. We have robotic automation to mass produce clothes so that it's not human labor work. Only those who enjoy the human labor part of it can do that, but we need instructional videos of how to sew, how to make clothes, how to make designs, how to go through the labor part, just in case in the future. We want to prepare for the future so that we never go without, so that nothing goes extinct, so that we don't lose technology, knowledge, and understanding and such. We want everything gathered to Zion, just like Gates is doing his collection of seeds and his storage in it. So yeah, that's what you can do. Anything you want to contribute. You know, online stuff, it's easy to send me the files so that we can then get that going. And so yeah, it would be easier for you to send the whole files rather than the link for me to get the files, because then that would just be another project for me. I'm still way behind on the JFK files that Trump released and showed that the CIA was the ones responsible for assassinating John F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King Jr. and Robert Kennedy, and we all know it, but they just playing games with us to keep us in the dark, keep us guessing and speculating, talking about aliens. Alrighty, wait a minute, I think I see another. Oh, yeah, we do have a couple more comments. So we've got to go over an hour and 15 minutes. And I see it's after 2 o'clock. So let me check my daily stats. Okay. This is ANWMS. The first one is Will a Mormon rob God? One of my favorite former neurology professors used to share a quote with us. The greatest hindrance to education is not ignorance, it's the perception of knowledge, which is ignorance. Who are these people? There's illiteracy, which is ignorance, and there's different types of illiteracy or ignorance. And so, yes, both the ignorance or the hindrance to education is an illiteracy, but it's an external attack for that. But yeah, so is the perception of knowledge. That's interpretational illiteracy, as I defined it as. But then he says, one thinks they know it all, they'll perpetually be in ignorance, just like Mormons. You know, well, you have to know how to know. You need to know that producing the fruit is knowledge from the Word, producing the results of the Word. And so you can know it all. But, yeah, when Mormons claim they know it all from spiritual witness feelings, no. But I do enjoy the movies and shows like Die Hard that picks not only on psychologists who think they know it all, but also the FBI. You want a miracle? I give you the FBI. Because they follow a script. They're predictable. And when you're predictable, the enemy can use that against you. I saw that under Biden. I'm just screaming at the deep state Dems. What the hell are you doing? They're doing this to you. Oh my God. So anyway, betting on 2025 Underground Mormon Deadpool. Prophet Deadpool. LOL, love the thumbnail. What is the meaning of the letters PATNS in the two columns to the right of the curse of Joe Jr.? Okay, well, let's bring that picture up then. Oh, Joe Jesus Jr. is going to set us all straight. Don't have you on this one? Why not? All right. Oh, you're referring to the solar eclipses, lunar eclipses, the P, the T, T minus A, that one? I think those seem to correspond. Yeah, I had Nelson below that, and below Nelson, I had, yeah, oh man, yeah. That's the key that I cut off, to cut off Nelson and have him set aside, because I was putting in potential dates for his death. And so it got too much to keep putting over a new thing, that I just instead trimmed it off. And so, no, it's a solar and lunar key. And so the solar key is a T for total eclipse, P for partial, A for annular, and H for hybrid. And then for Nelson, you'll notice that, oh, that's for the lunar. And so, yeah, I do have the key for that. And so for the lunar eclipses, the T is for total, P is for partial, N is for penumbral, ST is for a super moon total. And so that's why Monson gets a ST D. He was accused of rape. He was indeed. I think that was the England lawsuit against him. So yeah, the key is missing. Okay. Alrighty. So that's it. We're done.